very much to the leadership of the ANC led by our chairperson, Comrade Panyaza Lesufi, our deputy chairperson, Comrade Norman Du Gomorale Hoku, our secretary, Comrade TK Nisa, our deputy secretary, Comrade Tazwi Motera, and our treasurer, Comrade Murakan Msuki. So obviously this is the first time since the provincial conference I appear with you at a media briefing, so I am quite excited by this. You were elected at the conference that I chaired, and one of the days it was up to early hours of the morning. From that point of view, I want to thank you for the process that's underway now in our province to rebuild, strengthen our organization. I know you have wasted no time in engaging with the structures. The leadership collective that I led handed over at the conference to the leadership collective that is the Provincial Executive Committee, led by the officials who are sitting here. So we look forward to working with you. As an activist of the ANC, I live in Gauteng. I look forward to working with you in every sense of it, even if I'm not in the leadership of the Provincial Executive Committee. And I saw one of the media articles that I did not win a space in the PEC. I guess some of the journalists who don't attend these things, they write about politics, but they don't understand politics. So you would know that I did not contest for any position at the provincial conference. And I want to start where the chair started and continue to emphasize what the secretary has said, that in February this year, at the Provincial Assembly of Cadres held at Nazareth, it was almost 2 days before the State of the Province address. I addressed on behalf of the PEC, the branches of the ANC in Gauteng, and it is in that address that I made it clear that after thinking through the work that myself and a whole host of activists have done in Gauteng, following another group of activists who have been rebuilding our movement since the unbanning in 1990. Between 1990 and 2000, there's several contingents of cadres and leaders of the ANC in Gauteng. And in 2000, from 2000 to this year, 2022, it has been an honor for me to be part of the group of activists who have worked throughout the province to rebuild the ANC. In that address in February, I made it clear that I'm not going to make myself available for the leadership of the ANC in the province. I'm still here. I'm still an activist. So that was the first breaking news to our structures. And I know that after that we were able to get everybody to understand, we prepared for a conference, we elected the leadership that's sitting here, as I said. Immediately after the conference, once the conference completed its business, you remember the conference sat in 2 sessions. After that, I had a discussion with the chairperson of the province, Comrade Panyaza Lesufi. Subsequent to that, had a meeting with the secretary and the chair. So this was the second meeting. But we met immediately once the conference processes was completed, once the PEC was in place, we met. And I expressed my wish that I'm serving my last term, having handed the leadership of the organization. We have a PEC. I'm serving my last term in government. I can't be premier again. It's not allowed in our republic. There's 3 years. We are now 3 years into the second term, so there's 2 years to the end of term. So I said to the leadership, represented by the chairperson, my first meeting was with the chairperson, and the second meeting was with the chair and the secretaries. I expressed my wish that we need to discuss with the leadership that we have handed over to run the ANC, matters of how we're going to manage government, because as you would understand, I have sat in the PEC for all the years. We have related with different premiers from all the premiers, and I know it's definitely how government works and how the ANC and government must interface. So I shared with the leadership that we would need to put in place how we're going to manage governance issues. The leadership also raised the proposals on how we're going to do that. The second issue I said is that the elections are in 2024. One of my keen areas of interest is the smooth transition. This is an ANC-led government. I'm very keen, having been the last immediate leader of the ANC in our province and the immediate last chair of the ANC in our province before this leadership was elected. I'm also interested in ensuring that there's going to be a smooth transition in government, and smooth transition in the sense that this is an ANC-led government. We should have a discussion about how we are going to ensure that the ANC prepares for 2024 elections in a much stronger position, but we continue to run provincial government, stable, responsive government. The provincial government must be on the ground to deal with all the issues, but we also work very, very closely with the leadership of the ANC. I do want to say to you that there was a very, very specific wish I expressed to the chair and the secretary, that I wish that the next State of the Province address should be given by the leader the ANC has identified to lead government in Gauteng. I expressed that as a wish to the leadership. Said, it is my wish that in February next year, the State of the Province address is not done by me. It's done by the next leader the ANC has identified who must lead us in government. And I think it's a very simple thing for me. Having the experience I have about how the ANC works and how it should work, and understanding that I am at the tail end of the work one has done in government with the various collectives of MECs, and a lot of those are in the leadership of the PEC now, most of those MECs. Understanding the ANC the way I do, I also expressed a wish that we should ensure that the ANC manages these matters better prepared to go into the 2024 elections. And I said to the leadership, I think between now and that State of the Province address, let's have a detailed discussion. I am ready, and I want to say it today to you, that I am ready to hand over the leadership of Gauteng to the next premier that the ANC is the governing party now, so the ANC would identify that I am ready, and I said to the leadership, I am ready. We just need to manage this process properly, and let's do it in a way that doesn't create problems in the organization. Let's do it in a way that doesn't create problems in government. It doesn't impact on government service delivery, and I'm readily available to hand over. And the leadership said to me, as the secretary was saying now, thank you very much, Chair. They still call me Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, they still call me Chair, but I know I'm not Chair anymore. The secretary and the Chair said to me, thank you very much, Chair. We will We appreciate this discussion that you have started. And I did make it clear to them, I'm not resigning. I'm not about to submit a resignation. But I want to hand over properly, because that's an obligation as the immediate last provincial chair of the ANC. I would be willing to hand over when the ANC has gone through its own processes. The timing of that will be determined by the ANC itself, but it's very important that there are proper consultations through the ANC processes, and that's what the Secretary and the Chair were saying. And it's very important that there is no instability in our province. It's very important that this process is managed with utmost political maturity. But it's not about me. That's one thing I want to make it clear. I did say to the leadership, it's not about me. And the leadership went through a number of processes that they are still going through now. And I want to repeat that it is something that was initiated by me to have a discussion with the leadership of the ANC. And the leadership of the ANC came back to me after the PEC on Friday to say that we have now put through the discussions with the Provincial Executive Committee. You heard the Secretary saying it quite clearly. So there's no, I haven't threatened the leadership with a resignation. I haven't written a resignation to put it through to them. They haven't asked for me to resign. They haven't, as the Secretary was saying, they haven't taken a decision to recall me. All I did ask the leadership to do is that we need to ensure that we prepare. We must be concerned with governance. We must be concerned with the stability of and service delivery continuity. And there are major programs that the ANC is leading in Gauteng, major programs about economic reconstruction and recovery, major programs. We're rolling out the Township Economy implementation now, the Township Economic Development Act implementation. We're dealing with many issues around ethics and corruption. Those are ANC programs. I saw some of the the newspapers speculating, and as the spokesperson says that quoting malicious, faceless sources. We are on the same page on everything, including on lifestyle audits. That's an ANC conference resolution first and foremost. The lifestyle audits are not just decisions of government. They are exactly in the NASREC conference, the 54th National Conference. We are on the same page. All the MECs in Gauteng have said that we need to do this in a way that sets the standard, the bar higher. We are addressing issues of crime. We are deeply concerned. These ongoing briefings we had, we're very concerned about the level of crime and the violence, including the use of illegal firearms. And the ANC itself organized a lot of marches, and I know you were criticized that you are in charge of government and you're marching. Simultaneously as we were ensuring that Operation Okaimulao actually succeeds. There's other interventions, health related matters. We all share a deep concern on what needs to be done to fix our healthcare system, and not just keep dealing with tinkering on the surface. Deep structural reform of our healthcare system, something the ANC conference discussed, what we need to do with infrastructure issues. They are in the conference resolution. Fix the infrastructure in Gauteng, address the economy, address the issue of gender-based violence, address continue to improve our performance in education, continue to address the fundamental issues facing the people of Gauteng on service delivery, and the impact of migration as well. Migration from across the country. Gauteng is dealing with migration every day across the country, but also in the SADC region. The numbers are very, very clear. So those are they are in the conference resolutions of the provincial conference. These issues are coming from there and the conference resolutions. So as we were discussing with the leadership of the PEC, And this leadership, I must commend the leadership. When you come out of a conference, you often have the pull and pushes. You go into a conference and you come out of conference, there's pull and pushes. Those things, as a former secretary and former chair of the ANC, I understand the politics of this province very well. They will always be there. But this leadership collective is managing those issues. We've gone to the PEC. The PECs, they gave me feedback. The PEC welcomed the fact that as the immediate former leader, I'm working with the province, but also I can't just take a view that 2024 is the end of term. I don't work like that. I've not worked like that before. It's not how I work with. I always want to make sure that we work collectively, prepare for the next phase, prepare properly, take everybody on board, take the ANC structures, the alliance, and I know this leadership has also has some discussion with national leadership, and they are going to follow. All those is what is called ANC processes. So I want to say to you, I'm not here to render my resignation today, but I'm definitely ready to hand over to the next leadership of the ANC. There's a difference between recall and resignation and a handover, and this handover must be smooth, and the transition must be smooth. And this process was initiated at my own behest immediately after the provincial conference. This leadership hasn't come to me to demand a change, a reshuffle. I saw some of the media newspapers, some of the media houses were reporting that I was planning a reshuffle and then the PEC disagreed with the names. How can you just go, things that never took place? The PEC disagreed with the names, so that's what they are angry about. I was planning a reshuffle. And then there's been no discussion with the PEC about any reshuffle. It's amazing. But one thing there's been a discussion on is, I'm 8 years into this job that I had the honor to do, to serve the people of Gauteng. I'm 8 years into it. I'll continue to do this work. As I say, that's why I say I'm not handing over a resignation. I'll continue to do this work, but I'm definitely interested in ensuring that the provincial government that's led by the ANC is going to go into the next phase as smoothly as possible. So the day the ANC comes back and says to me, we think we've completed our process, I'll be able to hand over to the next premier. Of course, you know, it's those processes the ANC goes through will go its own processes. The timing of that is entirely dependent on the party itself. And we are continuing to work. Part of what you do know, I need to say, is today I'm undertaking a trip to Germany. As part of the work of the provincial government, we have done extensive work on renewable energy, green hydrogen, issues of innovation. We have the innovation corridor on green hydrogen in the Vaal, electric vehicles in the automotive hub in Tshwane. Tshwane is our automotive hub. We're looking at electric vehicles. We're looking at renewable energy. We're looking at green hydrogen. Those are some of the key issues we're discussing with Bavaria State. We have a partnership. Actually, I'm going to sign this end of this week, I'll sign an agreement, a renewal of a sisterhood agreement with Bavaria State in Germany. Bavaria State is where BMW comes from. So we're looking at the next generation of vehicles. So we are working. We are hard at work. After that, we will go to the Netherlands. There we are looking at green infrastructure issues because climate change is a big issue for us. We are looking at innovation, green infrastructure. We're looking again at the Erythropolis, Ekurhuleni Erythropolis. We're looking at Schiphol Erythropolis in the Netherlands. Those are critical issues. Agro-processing. And the cannabis industrialization. Cannabis is a key thing. I know some of you would love us to make great progress with cannabis. So we will be in the Netherlands. After Germany, we go to the Netherlands. We're looking at the way we are doing in our province on cannabis industrialization and agro-processing and producing cannabis for medicinal use and all the other issues. So that in the next 2 weeks, that's what I am going to be doing. I'm leading a delegation of the provincial government. So last week I took a decision that being out, I will appoint MEC Lessufi as the acting premier. I also know that itself was a subject of speculation. That, you know, Makhura is gone. It's gone. So Lessufi this week he started. So now I have appointed MEC Lessufi. You know, he is an experienced MEC in our provincial government. He's the leader of government business. A number of our MECs have acted when one has not been around. So he'll be acting for the next 2 weeks as we are busy on these international engagements. They are a very important part of the ANC vision of what Gauteng must become. You remember we have what we call the 5 corridors. We've got each corridor specializing in certain sectors. I've just talked about the Val and Tshwane. Ekurhuleni is the manufacturing hub of our province, and the West Rand is an agro-processing hub of our province. So those international visits are also about strengthening our relationship, and that's why I'm confident that the handover process that the ANC is discussing at my request, when that process is finalized, I'll be able to hand over and we're confident that in the legislature we will be able to elect at whichever point we want to do that. To elect an ANC premier in Gauteng. I'm very confident. When will that happen? It's entirely in the hands of the ANC, but I am ready. And as I said, I've not been asked by the ANC to resign. There's no recall. It's a process that it's absolutely necessary. When you are a leader and you have led, and I said that at the provincial conference, where you have led, so you have had so much support. You also want to make sure that the next leadership collective receives the kind of support from the people of Gauteng, from the various sectors of Gauteng. And I think I would be very available, Chair and Secretary, once we have finalized that process, to also go everywhere to engage the different sectors that one has a good relationship with, to engage with them, to make sure that they understand that I've not been pushed. If there's been people who have been whispering anywhere that they lack such confidence that they've not pushed me, or no, have they gone to the PEC, this leadership, to say, let's push it. That hasn't happened. And I think we will continue to ensure the ANC succeeds in this province. It is the intention of the ANC. I must say this. I said it at the conference, to still govern Gauteng after the 2024 elections. It is the intention of the ANC. And as an ANC activist, doesn't matter what role, what position I have. And having been in the leadership of this province and in government, we want to make sure the ANC does all the things that will win confidence of the people of Gauteng, to strengthen public confidence, deal with weaknesses of service delivery, failures, deal with problems of corruption head on without dodging any issues, and also deal with the economy, deal with infrastructure issues, and improve service delivery in Gauteng. So thank you very much for the opportunity to have this media briefing with you. I must also say the leadership has, I did say today I am traveling, so it would be a great pleasure if we can do the media briefing before I leave, because I also said to them, I want to speak for myself. And thank you very much. I've spoken for myself. They shouldn't be sitting here alone saying, yeah, no, the Premier this, and it's not, we didn't ask the Premier to resign. He came to talk to us. I must speak for myself. I believe very much in speaking for myself. This leadership, I still wish this leadership success in leading the ANC in Gauteng. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Premier. I just want to thank you so much, Premier.